Today is a new world, a challenging world, an exciting world. Trade links are increasingly global. Partnerships between former competitors have become not only commonplace, but vital. And new market entrants play larger roles than ever before. The Global Aerospace Summit, hosted by Mubadala Development Company, is a platform for industry leaders from across 4 sectors: aerospace, aviation, defense, and space. This year, more than 1,000 CEOs, senior influencers, and government officials from 56 countries have gathered in Abu Dhabi for the Global Aerospace Summit. The summit brings together leaders from every major and emerging aerospace economy in the world. Our delegates represent the entire spectrum, from legacy airlines and low-cost carriers to airframers, engine and component manufacturers, from maintenance repair and overhaul providers to aircraft leasers, research centers, universities and industry associations. Abu Dhabi welcomes the aerospace world. Together, we will address the big questions for our industries, not just today, but over the years to come. How far will investment in aviation, aerospace and space drive economic diversification in emerging markets? How is the changing nature of international partnerships affecting today's increasingly globalized supply chain? How do our industries address the global shortage of graduates in science, technology, engineering and mathematics? How do we meet those issues? How do we shape our future? Our industries are able to act as catalysts for economic growth across the world. We challenge you to highlight the next steps, the solutions, to forge strategies for the future growth of our industries. Welcome to Abu Dhabi. Welcome to a unique forum to shape the future. Welcome to the Global Aerospace Summit 2014.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Gowing, and my job is to make sure that certainly these 2 days go incredibly efficiently, whether you're in this room or other rooms as well. Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this critical challenge about shaping the future, liberalization of economies, the impact that's having on business models. This is your business. And so now's the time to discuss as frankly as you can do, the challenges that you face with the liberalization of the economies, the impact of so many changes right across this dynamic business where things fortunately are looking up at the moment. My job is to facilitate this. And what I want to do is introduce you at this point to the way that you can input, not necessarily with a microphone because there are too many of you, but ways in which you can actually input into the discussion. Certainly this morning, which is a very tight schedule. We can't have microphones everywhere in this room. I'd like to introduce you to the app, and 700 of you have actually registered. This is not a gimmick. This is a way in which you can actually access and input into the discussion that we're having on the platform. I'm going to be down there fielding it with my colleagues. And just in case some of you haven't yet managed to find your way around the app, let me underscore how you do it. Once you've registered, you go onto networking, and then you go onto the moderator page, and you can actually just send a message to the moderator, which is me, via my colleagues here, or you can simply send an email, and I hope the address is there. It is moderator@aerospacesummit.com. Bear that in mind throughout the whole morning, because I want you to feel that you can access the discussion that we're having up here, but there are 1,000 of you, which does create quite some significant challenge. But please don't leave your ideas until later, because the momentum will move on very swiftly. So I'd like you to use your smartphone, use your tablet, make yourself feel that you can at least put a point to me. Don't send me a paper, don't send me 10 pages, that won't get mentioned, but certainly some headline discussion point which I can put immediately to anyone who is up here on the platform, whether now or later in the morning, so we can consider it for you. Time is tight, so let's move on immediately with the first address by His Excellency Saif Mohammed Al Suwaidi, who's Director General of the General Civil Aviation Authority here in Abu Dhabi. Your Excellency.
Your Highness, Sheikh Hamid bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Your Highness, Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. On behalf of the United Arab Emirates General Civil Aviation Authority, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to Abu Dhabi and to the second Global Aerospace Summit. This event brings together leaders from the spectrum of aviation, aerospace, defense, and space industries across the globe under one roof to exchange thought and experience and ideas, and to collaborate together for a better future for the industry. As we all know, this inaugural summit has truly become a platform for innovation discussions and key collaborations on present matters shaping the future of the global industries in hand and taking actual steps to face upcoming challenges and adapt with market shifts. Today, the Global Aerospace Summit returns to Abu Dhabi with more than 1,000 delegates representing 425 companies from 56 countries. We also have great representation from the emerging BRICS markets. This is a key indication that Abu Dhabi and the UAE in general has become a global player and key vital hub for aerospace and aviation industrialization, while the capital of UAE steadily continues to invest heavily into the future of aviation, not just locally, but regionally and internationally as well, through an unprecedented role in driving international cooperation and encouraging industry growth. Dear guests, the UAE is blessed to be positioned in a strategic location that connects the developed markets with emerging markets. We have used this opportunity to develop our infrastructure to become a world-leading air transport hub with two of the largest and leading airlines in the world, along with their world-class hubs. Establishing our position as a key player with the air transport sector was only the start for us. Today, the UAE, along with other developing markets, have the opportunity to establish their position as key players within the aerospace industry and develop manufacturing capabilities to play a vital role within the industry's supply chain. In this regard, Abu Dhabi has entered into key strategic partnerships with world-leading organizations to develop its manufacturing capabilities within the aerospace sector. It has been able to become a supplier to some leading global aircraft manufacturers. We, at the General Civil Aviation Authority, are honored with our participation at the Global Aerospace Summit this year as a strategic partner. Being the sole aviation regulatory authority in the UAE, we are delighted to share our experts' knowledge and experience through participating in different panels across the summit. Dear guests, as we are standing in front of ever-growing industry that has its own challenges and opportunities, this is an exciting time not only for UAE, but for all countries participating in this summit to create a strong, lasting partnership and build opportunities for cooperative and harmonized action. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our guests and speakers for their valuable participation and wish you a fruitful summer. Thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your Excellency, thank you very much indeed. Let me just underscore how this works for you. When you go on to networking, when you go to keyword, you put in moderator, and then that'll open up a window where you can drop a note to me and my colleagues up here. And it's important that you do feel you do have that level of access, so please get your thoughts to me if you want to contribute at any point. Let's now move on with James Hogan, President and Chief Executive of Etihad Airways. He will be joined on the panel in a moment, so again, keep those thoughts coming to me based on what James Hogan says. James Hogan, the floor is yours.
Your Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Abu Dhabi, our home. Today is a very important conference. Over the next 2 days, we'll discuss the issues of aviation and aerospace in general. But one of the unique aspects of Abu Dhabi, like business, is about change. It's about vision, it's about strategy. And when one considers Abu Dhabi in 1975 to the Abu Dhabi of today, that is a reflection of strategy, of vision, of how you build a global city. And within building a global city, there needs to be a very clear vision. And in Abu Dhabi, that vision is, in fact, the 2030 vision. How one takes advantage of a city truly positioned as a crossroad to the world, takes advantage of diversification in aerospace, builds best practices in a range of sectors to ensure that strategy, investment, vision is delivered. And it's apt for this conference, which is about the vision of aviation and aerospace, that Abu Dhabi is a city of change. Abu Dhabi has been very clear in how aviation and aerospace is a key pillar in the diversification of economic strategy. It is a major economic driver. It's a major employer. It is a hub that facilitates global passenger and cargo traffic. And as you'll see through the course of this conference, this is an example of how aerospace, the byproducts of aerospace, has been successful within the Emirate. The opportunity for all the Gulf carriers is very simple. It's about geography and technology. Geography that, whether it be Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Doha, we are truly at the center of the world. Through technology, we're able to fly to all parts of the world non-stop, to create connectivity. And in today's world, connectivity is key. Whether it's business, whether it's leisure, whether it's visiting friends and family. It's how we connect major economies that may not have the infrastructure to take advantage of their population, of their economy, of their size, and create truly a crossroad to the world. And when one looks at the IATA statistics, passenger statistics, it's very clear that in a world of competition, in a world of economic, political challenge, that the Middle Eastern region continues to grow and enables the Gulf carriers and Middle Eastern carriers to have the momentum to build a unique roadmap. In building that roadmap, infrastructure is extremely important. And certainly here in Abu Dhabi Airports Corporation are building a new midfield terminal that will open in July of 2017, which will give us the ability to compete, to have the infrastructure, the facilities of a world-class crossroad, but at the same time be a major employer and economic driver within the Emirate. And on the back of that saw the creation of Etihad Airways. Etihad Airways is a young carrier. We're just 10 years old, and we're an example of what a non-legacy carrier can achieve. With a board, with a leadership, with a clear vision to build a business with a very clear mandate, not to be the biggest, but to be the best in class, to be safe, best in class product, and make money. We've taken advantage of our hub here in Abu Dhabi to truly build a global brand, but at the same time connect within the vision of the 2030 plan. Because that's what you do in business. You have a clear strategy, a clear roadmap, and you deliver on the plan. As an airline, our strategy is different. It's about how do we achieve scale, competitive scale through our own network and through partnerships. As an airline, in our own right, this year we're a $7.4 billion US corporation. Over 100 aircraft, over 100 destinations, but still not the major player within the region. And we've embarked on a strategy that's different in aviation in regard to organic growth through code-share with other carriers, over 47 airlines, investment in other carriers, but also, as importantly, working with our partner in Abu Dhabi Airports Corporation to ensure that the hub is competitive. And when I talk about hubs, I've seen the change from the creation of the European hubs, the Asian hubs, and now the Gulf hubs. And it's how we as a Gulf hub compete against the rest of the regions. As an airline, we have invested in other carriers in Europe, the Indian Ocean, in Switzerland, in Germany, in India, in Australia, and Ireland. And that's about the next generation of behavior. It's how do we as an airline take advantage of changing strategies, changing behavior to create connectivity over Abu Dhabi. So it improves top line, but simultaneously how we come together to drill the cost base, to improve the unit cost. Our recent negotiation with Airbus and Boeing at the Dubai Air Show wasn't a discussion about Etihad, it was a discussion about a group of airlines that brought 500 aircraft to the table. It's about a different model, and that's what business is all about. And as an airline, we continue to diversify. We've moved into a global organization in aviation, in travel, in aviation, in cargo. Back in 2006, Etihad Airways turned over $300 million US. This year, $7.4 billion. $1 billion of that turnover, in fact, is in our dedicated cargo business. So the spirit of diversification, of building a different model, of working with the other stakeholders is fundamental. Because what we're also building, in addition to our own business model, the mandate we have from our board to be a sustainable airline, is how we contribute to the economy. As part of the 2030 plan, a very clear focus on diversification away from the energy sector. And certainly when you look at the catalytic effect of a successful airline from a direct, indirect perspective, the flow on of spend, of jobs is considerable. At the same time, it's how do we as an airline take advantage of change? And certainly with other partners within Abu Dhabi, with Mazda, with Boeing, with Turkey, which is part of the oil company. We've tested the first biofuel flight. And we continue to look at ways, as the business model evolves, how do we change as a business? How do we take advantage of our global positioning? And certainly when one considers our partnerships in Europe, that catalytic effect of how we develop economies isn't limited to Abu Dhabi, but it's also expanded to the regions of the world in which we operate. And that's been a very important part of how we build the business model, how we stretch the range, how we collaborate with other businesses across the world. And in fact, we're challenging. We're changing the status quo. But we're challenging because in business, if you don't change, you die. So in looking at how we work with other carriers and build the network, take out cost, it's about partnership. It's about building a network. It's about creating jobs and supporting economic growth, which is an important part of aviation and aerospace. At the same time, in our own right, we are positioned for the future. At the recent air show, we had a major deal which has taken us through to 2040. A very clear roadmap of taking advantage of technology, best-in-class technology from the manufacturers, best-in-class from GE and Rolls-Royce to ensure that we achieve the economic cost, the unit cost, the efficiencies as a business we need. But at the same time, a byproduct of the deal is that we're able to negotiate with Mubadala to achieve, as a group, a great aerospace and aviation deal. What we've built and why this conference is so exciting is a firm base for the future. Aviation is about scale. We all see the challenges and the margins of carriers. They need to change to survive. We've seen how hubs can drive markets, change economies. We've seen that different business models can win, and certainly we're at the forefront of that. But at the same time, aerospace, tourism, aviation is a key driver of economic benefit. And certainly the Middle East is poised for continued success. And when I'm asked the question, can the three Gulf carriers survive in this market? The answer is yes. As this map demonstrates, within 3 hours of Abu Dhabi, Doha, Dubai, the Gulf states, the Middle East, the Indian subcontinent, a population that is growing, a population that understands brand, a population where in their own countries aviation is, with poor infrastructure or challenges, the opportunity for the three carriers is very clear. It's very strong and very positive. So as I started, I welcome you to Abu Dhabi. I'm sure it's going to be 2 days of interesting discussion, and I thank you for your time. And Nick, back to you.
James, thank you very much indeed. And let me invite to the platform Mohammed Shamari, as well as Marion Blakely, to take this forward. As they're coming up, let me just ask you, James, because no one's actually asked the question yet, what would you like to tell us about other relations you're building, say, with Alitalia and Air Berlin at the moment?
I thought you'd ask that later, Nick.
I'll ask you now.
Okay. Look, as I said in the presentation, we're in a part of the world where there are strong brands. We have Sheikh Ahmed here from Emirates. Emirates are a strong competitor on one side, and obviously we have Qatar Airways. Now, we can't replicate their business model. And what we have to look at is how I mentioned we build networks. So entering into the Air Berlin partnership gave us access to Germany. It's been for us, all our key objectives have been met, and we're in the final stages of negotiating the next stage of that partnership. Alitalia, it's public record, we're in due diligence at the moment. The mandate I have from the shareholders, from the board, is if we can achieve an agreement that meets the commercial mandate, then I'm to come back and present that to the board. And at the moment, that's where we are with that discussion.
Thank you very much.